questions. Yeah. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unusual Suspects. What number is what?
72.
72. Still not canceled. Yes.
Boom. That was the weirdest awkward hand.
Because I have to go where the mic is at. But guys, for all of our day ones, all our regular people, I love you guys to death. Thank you for being here. For all the new people, we got a bunch of subscribers yesterday. PBD podcast didn't happen, so we did an emergency podcast with Tom the Biz Doc, Adam Sosnick. Rob was in there. Rob freaking killed it. So I wanted to say, guys, thank you so much for being here. The Unusual Suspects. We have everybody and their mother comes here. We've actually had mothers on here too. But we talk about everything and we push the envelope. That's why I'm shocked that we're not canceled. So thank you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe while you're here. Because I guess, 60% of people that are here, they don't subscribe because they're just like, great content. But they keep going and then they watch Asian anime.
It's free.
Porn, whatever. Yeah. And guys, just really, really fast before we get into the stories. If you guys see my shirt right here, the Angry Patriot shirt. Guys, I'm telling you guys right now, I can't explain to you how many people, because I worry about, you wear a shirt, you leave the house, you don't remember what you put on because I have a bunch of them. How many people go up to me in the street and they point and they go, me too, and I have no idea what they're talking about. I'm like, yeah, but then I realize it's this. So guys, if you are a patriot like me and you love and will die for this country, and yes, I'm a veteran as well for the new people, and you want to let people know that, dude, you're pissed off with everything that's happening. I mean, while we're here, while we're talking, guys, somebody the other day was like, why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your breath talking about this and letting people know? Because I'm like, guys, this country is the greatest country ever, but I'm telling you right now, the people that are in here, and I served the military, and we signed up to fight enemies, foreign and domestic. I'm more worried about the domestic enemies right now than the foreign ones. All right, we got nukes. We can kill anybody that we want. But when it comes to domestic, so guys, if you want to rock this shirt, Nat, we're going to put that's at vtmerch.com. The link is going to be, can you put the link in the chat? Amy, and then guys, we're going to have it in the description as well. So rock your shirt and wear it proud. I got the flag on this side, and then it says Future Looks Bright on the back. But anyway, that being said, guys, we're going to get into our stories. Just a quick rundown. I'm going to be talking about the Secret Service. And guys, just when you thought they couldn't mess up anymore, they did it again. Okay? And then we're going to talk about Thomas Crooks. Do you guys hear about where he was training and all that type of stuff?
Weird.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Rob's going to talk about Epstein and Trump. I guess there was an airplane that Trump bought.
Leased. But yes,
leased
used for a day.
Whatever. Used for a day. That's what she said. We're going to get into Viva's going to talk about Trump's Elon Musk spaces.
The Lisp and some voting machine
you mean
stuff.
It's a nothing burger story. That's what they say. And then Connor's going to talk about the North Sentinel Island, which I have no idea what
An island you've never heard of has better border security than the United States, and that's a huge problem for us.
We're
Weird.
paying for it.
Yeah.
No,
who's paying
we're
for
not.
it? Oh, okay.
And you'll see why in a minute.
All right. And then Humberto's going to be talking about censorship. The UK versus Venezuela. And I saw some videos last night, bro. I had to message you guys in the chat, and I was so disgusted. But all right, guys, let's just get right into it. So the Secret Service, cackling Kamala Harris was in Massachusetts. She was doing a fundraiser a couple days ago when her Secret Service, a female Secret Service chick, broke into a salon. Dude, they break into the salon. She duct tapes the camera. Okay, listen, guys. The Secret Service has been exposed as one of the most incompetent, just DI hire type situations. And then just to add insult to injury, they break in as if they're Secret Service. Go to a public restroom, go somewhere. She shows up, they duct tape it, and go in there, and they use the bathroom for 2.5 hours. Like, what? What are you doing?
Vinny, just to highlight, again, the stupidity, do we have the image of the woman duct taping?
Yeah.
Not that she's a woman, but they duct tape it like a dumb criminal. Like, I'm going to go right now. See my face? Oh, now you don't.
Yeah,
now I'm good.
Can you show this video of her? There's a photo of her, and then there's a video of her.
It's like the guy who puts on the ski mask as he enters the bank.
Now, hold on. I don't think they...
Oh, they're blurring her face out there.
Okay. Yeah, play this one. Look at her. Look at her. Look, she's
going to go up here.
She's casing the joint. That's her on the right, but look, she's casing the joint. She leaves.
Gonna go get the state-issued duct tape. That's what it's for.
Yeah, look at her. Look. Oh, I'm bringing a chair. Like, do you not know that you're on the camera before you did it? Like,
well, she needs a chair. This might have been the same Secret Service lady who was a foot shorter than Trump.
Yeah, exactly. It's unbelievable. Like, bro. Like, and by the way, can we talk about something that's good? Like, what's so secret about the Secret Service? We know who you are. You're the people wearing the glasses. You're wearing the jacket. It's the not so Secret Service. It's like there's no secret. If somebody wants to find out who you are, they know who you are. And like this just shows like just incompetence at a level. And then, bro, at the end of the day, I don't care who you work for. That's breaking and entering, and they had to issue an apology to these people. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if you heard the follow-up to the stupidity. They used it for 2.5 hours. They used the bathroom. Lord knows what they're doing in the bathroom for that long.
It ain't no secret.
Then they leave it unlocked, alarms blaring. Secret Service suggested that it wasn't them.
Suggested?
Which is even more nefarious. It means that somebody's dressing up like Secret Service, and Secret Service is doing nothing about it. It's wild.
And then, imagine this. This is your place of business. This is Massachusetts. I'm not saying like the crime rate is up, but you not only break in, you duct tape my camera, and then you leave it unlocked for anything to, like, okay, and just to add to it, you guys remember who was the girl that got fired? Kim Cheadle?
Yeah, no, she didn't get fired. She resigned.
She resigned.
In fact, not a single person has been fired, and yet whatever came of any of those hearings that we had regarding the Trump assassination, there's been no fallout. The only fallout was a woman who was not qualified to be in the position that she was in, resigned, but she has not answered any more questions on Capitol Hill. She has not been investigated, and nobody has been fired from the Secret Service despite a former president of the United States getting shot in the head. It was the ear, but it was still his head.
It's still,
wait, is it a fact? Nobody has been fired.
Hold up, wait.
Cheadle resigned, and the people at the helm of that catastrophic failure are still doing security and are partaking in the investigation.
No, it's not kidding. And you got no. By the way, this is a government job, and if you, Humberto, good, you should be upset because let's just say he was murdered. This would be the only thing that would have been happened. She would have resigned. Okay, she would have been resigned, and then all they do in Congress and the House, and they do this BS circle. I don't want to say it, but it's like when they try to get Fauci, and I'm going to show a video of Fauci here later on. They go up there, and there are all these gotcha moments, and then he went after him, and Rand Paul went after him, and then what? No accountability because the news cycle is so fast, bro. People have forgotten.
Well, that and they are trying to deliberately move on from this because they don't want to reveal what actually happened. But just as relates to the Secret Service lady, this is from Fox News, so I don't know how reliable it is. But quoting the Secret Service, it says, "We hold these relationships in the highest regard, and our personnel would not enter or instruct our partners to enter a business without the owner's permission," end quote, Mackenzie said, stopping short of saying who was responsible. So they are sowing this like seed of doubt that it wasn't them, which means that there are people dressed up like Secret Service running around doing Lord knows what, and Secret Service itself is doing nothing about that. Well, so I don't know what's worse.
If you're going to dress up like Secret Service, why is the one thing you do break into a salon to drop a 2-hour deuce?
Yeah.
Like, you can't come up with anything better, more nefarious.
Because they're government employees.
Yeah.
I guess. But this is the other problem with when we allow these government agencies to investigate themselves for wrongdoing.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times have you read a press release that's like, oh, the FBI investigated the FBI and determined that the FBI didn't do anything wrong. All right, great. I guess that settles it then, right?
I hope to God I'm wrong, and I just double-checked nobody has been fired.
Zero.
Zero.
Why would they, Humberto? Why would they fire anybody?
Come on, Vinnie.
Because
anywhere else you will get fired.
I know, anywhere else, but think about this. She was, and listen, this is my belief, okay? At that level of incompetence, it's gross negligence, okay? It's highly orchestrated. And by the way, because if this was a movie, if this was a movie this past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, all right, like they summed it all up from Trump when it started, and then somebody tried to kill him, I would say, oh, it's those same people. I know who the bad guy is. Do you understand what I'm saying, David? I would already have been like, the Secret Service chick, she works for the deep state. She was responsible for making everybody, point fingers and no jail time.
I don't remember if we talked about this on Evaluatainment, but you go back to Kevin Kleinsmith falsifying documents to submit to a secret FISA court to get an unlawful spy warrant against Carter Page. You got Peter Strzok and what's his
Lisa Page.
And
Andy McCabe, who was in charge.
Talking about an insurance policy against the Trump presidency. Did you hear that Strzok got paid $1.2 million in a settlement because of violation of privacy for releasing his text messages? Yeah.
What?
He got $1.2 million. Lisa Page got $800,000.
From who? Wait, because the
government? From the Department of it's one of the, I think it's the DOJ or the FBI. Someone had to sign off on it for violating of privacy for disclosing those text messages.
Wow.
And so and then what? 8 years later, they don't have a guy on the roof. Now we've seen the footage of the cop saying, I told Secret Service 2 days ago to have that roof. They didn't have the roof. We're going to find out they were literally shooting with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Or in close proximity at the shooting
and I'm happy you say that. And then going back really fast, and that's why I started talking about Kim Cheadle, the girl that stepped down, Robbie. Remember the cocaine that was found in the White House? She was involved, and the guy that found it, they got rid of him. They took him off of the case because guess whose cocaine it was? Hunter the crackhead Biden. It boggles my mind that a coke crackhead, fiend, junkie, scumbag, okay, who was at the White House. It was the 4th of July week. They found a big-ass bag of cocaine, and everybody was like, what? There's no camera. And why would we have a camera?
And then the news cycle switched to how 8 years ago, apparently the Trump administration was prescribing medication.
Yeah.
But also, by the way, the other guy there, the director of the FBI or the Secret Service, I forget which, the one who testified about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, the new guy.
He was involved. It was either Roe or the other guy, Abate, one of the two. Was involved in deleting the January 6th text messages when they updated their phones after Jan 6 and deleted. He was involved in that. These are the people now that you are trusting to give you answers as to how this catastrophic failure could have happened.
And then people question people like us when they go, "What do you mean you don't trust the FBI?" Listen to me. I've had FBI agents from our events come up to me and go, "Hey man, I love you, I respect you, but not all." I go, "Listen, not all. The organization." It's like when I criticize Israel, the moment you do that, it's, "Oh, you hate Jews." No. Israel, the government, Benjamin Netanyahu. That's like when I talk crap about the FBI, it's the leadership, it's Christopher Wray. But you are, to me, just as at fault as if you take these orders and you hurt American citizens and you do illegal stuff and you think, they told me to do it, it's my job. No, then quit, because you have no soul, okay? If you're spying on Americans, if you're trying to dethrone an American freaking president, if you're talking Russia collusion, all this crap with this Secret Service and all that stuff, you are the problem. You are the domestic threat. You're the enemy of the people, which goes to my next story. Thomas Crooks, you brought it up, Dave. What are the odds? He trained at the same gun range used by the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, let me say that again. The department, like the people that are in charge of protecting the country, they're at a range next to this guy, okay? The records revealed he had been training side by side with DHS, FBI, and local police officer for months before the shooting, okay? He joined the Clairton Sportsman Club last August, a year ago, and frequented the facility 43 times, and his final visit, guess how many days before? The day before the attempted assassination on July 13th at the rally in Pennsylvania.
You said he went 43 times?
He went 43 times.
Over 1 year.
Yeah, clearly he needed to go a lot more because this guy couldn't shoot.
Yeah, with no scope. Yeah, by the way, no scope on the gun, which I'm telling you guys right now, the more you keep hearing and the more details come out, there is no way this dude, and you look like you're about to have a heart attack.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It gets worse.
It's unbelievable. So, guys, and Rob, just out of curiosity, Rob, you haven't gone shooting yet. Who's gone to a range yet?
Yeah.
Connor, you've gone. Humberto, does this strike you as odd? He went to the shooting range on Christmas Day. First of all, the range is open. I can't believe that, but whatever. That's business is business. He was there on Christmas, Valentine's Day, and Halloween.
The Halloween one is the really suspicious one because Valentine's Day, if you don't have a girlfriend, what are you going to do?
Well, look
Halloween,
at the door.
Everybody loves it.
By the way, can I say something? Yeah, then I'm going to get to by the way, Nat, show this guy so people know. I want people to see this guy.
Surprising that guy was alone on Valentine's Day.
Okay, listen. DHS, all these people, David, I'll go to you. All those agencies, all those people, the guys at the range, that guy, put him back up, Nat. That guy is at a shooting range, okay? All you guys are there. You're all watching him. That isn't a red flag. Then I don't know what is, guys. That looks like the epitome of a school shooter, lone gunman, assassin, and he's just hanging out in the weeds with you guys, okay? It's unbelievable. It's laughable, but it's scary, Humberto, because to me, if I was looking from the outside in, I would be like, wait a minute. If he's there training with them, maybe they're training him. Maybe they're teaching this guy, hey, listen, train here. We'll make sure that you can at least get a shot off. You don't know this or not. We're going to probably brainwash you.
It doesn't even have to be quite that overt. Like if they see someone who, and we all have problems with red flag laws in terms of potential abuse. Yeah. It's just in terms of what is suspicious behavior. And you see this dude here, and he doesn't, it's not to be mean or judgmental. He clearly looks like something is off psychologically.
You think?
43 days in a year, training within proximity of all DHS, FBI, local law enforcement. It probably did raise a red flag. There's a joke, when you report someone to the FBI, they're not going to arrest them. They're going to recruit them.
Yeah,
and
no, of course.
I'm predicting it because I'm cynical. When Abate or the other guy, when he said he wasn't in our holdings, referring to crooks. They weren't in the FBI holdings. That doesn't mean that they never came across him before. And I guarantee, I mean, it's my prediction. There will be a connection because you don't show up 43 times in a year. 1 year at a shooting range where there's other DHS and you don't show up there 43 times and not make a connection.
Exactly.
Period.
Also, go ahead.
If you spend any kind of time at a range, you'll encounter a lot of interesting characters.
Everyone is
depending
super
on where
friendly.
it is. You know, they're very friendly in a lot of places. When you go down here, the characters you run into tend to be people who are shooting things that may or may not be legal. Hard to say. Other places, if you go to a range in the middle of nowhere, it's guys who are like, yeah, I'm here in case the government gets squirrely and they don't like having cameras around. You can find interesting characters mixed in amongst all the friendly people. But if you're at a range that's professional grade enough to be training DHS and all these other law enforcement, you'd expect a guy like that to stand out. And the fact that nobody said anything shows that they either weren't paying attention or invited him.
Or they were.
Yeah.
And he did stand out.
And I'm sick and tired. You know what I'm sick and tired of, guys? I'm sick and tired of hearing this was just a series of failures. I know Bill Barr said something once about it's the series of failures or just everything had to go wrong at the right time. It's like, guess what? BS. Okay? There's too many mess-ups and too many coincidences. Rob, what do you think?
Well, we keep going, I wonder if there were signs. Remember how they always do that? Were there signs that this guy was going to act this way? Even the day of, this came out 5 days ago, according to the Associated Press, but did you guys see the body cam footage that came out of the local police saying that they warned the Secret Service? This is according to body camera footage released by the Butler Township Police Department, and this is a quote from a local police officer who told a fellow officer he had warned the Secret Service days earlier that the AGR building that Crooks shot from was needed to be secure. Here's the quote from the local police. I effing told them they needed to post guys effing over there, the officer said in body camera footage. I told them that on Tuesday. So you're talking about Tuesday, the Secret Service was warned that building, the AGR building, was a liability and needed to be secured. The rally doesn't happen until Saturday. So they had 4 days in advance to secure that building, and they didn't. Why?
The roof was sloped, and it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
And also it was hot, and you know,
and let me
all
explain
these other
something.
things.
If you look, anybody with a brain in law enforcement, I'm talking about local law enforcement, any one of those guys, any security guard, David, if us five went out, all of us, everybody in this room went there, and we stood where Trump was, and we went, okay, listen, threats. Where are the major threat avenues going to be coming from? That's the main and only, that'd have been the number one. The tower, water tower, would be probably first or second, but the immediate threat is that roof. So you cannot, listen, there's no way in hell you're going to explain to me that was left because of a slope. So that's why when she said something like that, I went, oh, she's in on it. She has to be.
There's no question. And you go with the, the Bill Barr, a series of errors. It's like that scene out of Minority Report where it's like, you know how often it's an orgy of errors, except it's not an orgy of evidence.
Yeah.
You know how often you see an orgy of errors? Never. And the explanations themselves are mutually incompatible. Oh, it was a sloped roof. Well, then the other guy gets up and says, no, we didn't need anybody on that roof because we had the other snipers with visuals. Yeah. And then, what's his face? Jim Jordan's like, but they didn't have a visual on that roof.
Yeah.
They said it was a 1 in a million shot because they couldn't. So none of their explanations even make sense. The only thing that makes sense is that they knew there was a vulnerability and they knew they had this wacko kid who they had seen 43 times over the last year. Give him his opportunity. Let it happen. Yeah. And he missed.
Yeah. I personally think there was another shooter. I don't even think he might have gotten a shot off if he did. Listen, I don't know what the hell to believe, but that training, the gun range that he was at, he participated in. The training included high-intensity situation drills, such as preparing for mass shooting events. You can't make this up, all right? And it's just interesting. And Rob, you made a great point. They, them, that's their pronouns. They tried to murder Donald Trump, the leading presidential candidate for the Republican Party, 1 month ago. It's 30 days. It's been 30 days, right?
Yep.
14?
The only nominee that actually won their party's primary and is actually, if you're going by the rules of democracy, was actually voted by his constituents to represent them in the 2024 election because Kamala Harris is not.
And Rob, that's going to my point. A month ago, They tried to take him out, and nobody's talking about it. Like, we're mentioning it here and there. He's not even talking about it. Like, yeah, he's like, yeah, my ear. And then we're moving on. It's unbelievable that one of the most, because think about it, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, JFK, if his head was shot off, okay, if that bullet hit, like in the head.
We'd be in World War III
Dude,
right now.
I think that's what they wanted, bro. They missed their shot. And I tell people are like, well, he's a sniper. The snipers don't miss. Yes, they do. They're not God, okay? God intervened, and he did that. And look at what the hell we've gotten. Like, dude, because if he's dead, and
you know why the media is not talking about it? If you understand Mockingbird media and the fact that the media is an apparatus of intelligence, they don't want to bring the spotlight onto their failed assassination attempt.
Of course not.
So they want to suppress this as much as possible, get Google to Facebook to declare that image manipulated so they can suppress it, so they can kill the story.
Wow, and it's
but
done.
if you want to see, like, the guy there, the photographer who was there filming in super high speed.
600 slow-mo.
You go look at the video of the apples being shot by bullets in super slow motion and understand that's what would have been but for the grace of God. That's what would have been images everywhere in perpetuity. It would have been the most demoralizing act of violence on the humankind, I guess, since JFK.
100%. And then people would have seen that image and said, oh,
this is a lesson for you.
Exactly. That's the lesson. Hey, Vivek or any of you guys with a bigger,
can do
big
it
voice.
With anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe it. All right, guys. Moving on. Rob, Donald Trump and Epstein, he leased his jet.
Yes. Well, can we play? Are we gonna play the Fauci video? I was so excited.
God,
for the
you know
Fauci
what?
video.
I'm so good. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Take time away from me. I'd rather go back.
No,
to
I
the
love
Fauci
it. Oh yeah,
video.
guys. So, and Rob, I love you guys. I apologize. This was just something. Like, by the way, I got baptized last weekend. I've been trying so hard to walk in the footsteps of Jesus Christ. I'm trying to stop cussing. I'm trying to be a better person. And I get them, people have this misconception. When they see you do wrong, it's automatically, I thought you were a Christian. Yes, I am. I'm a work in progress. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm trying to be like Jesus Christ. But anyway, that being said, I try to get as much hate out of my heart as humanly possible. But people like Joe Biden, especially, I don't care that he doesn't remember, the FBI, all these people, Corinne Jean-Pierre, and the #1 winner of the crime against humanity captain, okay, this rat, Dr. Fauci, who keeps making his rounds, which, mind you, has protection from our government tax dollars, protects this guy. He needs, by the way, RFK is just getting Secret Service protection. He has Secret Service protection now because he knows that we know what he did. He needs to cover his tush for the rest of his life. Here's a video. I chopped this together. This is him about when the pandemic was hitting, talking about the vaccine and its effectiveness and blah, 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 blah. And then I spliced what he says 2 days ago, which is the most hypocritical. This is going to piss me off. Go ahead, Nat, play the video, please.
And we have 2 vaccines that are really quite effective, highly effective, virtually 100% efficacious. I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my 3rd infection. Listen, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
Oh, he's laughing. By the way, I don't know what the hell.
I do not.
By the way, he's laughing. What the hell? What the hell's that?
In other news,
I love that part.
I don't believe that he was that he received 6 jabs. I don't believe
it either. Do you see him smirking with that horrible face of his?
Like,
do you see that? Like,
doodle.
By the way, why isn't the FBI involved? Why isn't he why doesn't Congress bring him back and say, you said it was almost 100% effective, and yet everybody's getting it. People are still getting it. People that are vaccinated that I know are getting COVID with worse reactions. Horrible.
Vinny, it's worse. It's worse than that. Now, Robert Barnes and I, we do our Sunday show and we talk about a lawsuit that he's involved in representing Brooke Jackson.
What's the name of the show? Because I want people.
Viva Barnes on Sunday night on Rumble,
Yes.
6 o'clock. He's representing Brooke Jackson, who is a Pfizer whistleblower, and they filed a qui tam lawsuit against Pfizer for fraud. Basically, that Pfizer promised a vaccine that worked, yada, yada, and they delivered nothing. And it's fraud on the American people, but the government wasn't taking the lawsuit. So Brooke Jackson files this. She saw the bullcrap testing.
Yeah.
It was all manufactured, fabricated, fraudulent from the beginning. She files this about 1.5 years or 2 years in. The government then takes over the case and kills it.
Wow.
Seeks for its dismissal because basically, I think the argument is, it would embarrass the government if this were to proceed, to show how Pfizer fraudulently stole money from the government and produce a garbage vaccine.
And everybody that's been vaxxed can sue them as well. Right? Everybody's be like a class action.
But it's like it's beyond like they're covering it up. I just have to highlight that because the government intervened in this Ketam lawsuit to dismiss it.
Yeah, because the business partners is Pfizer. Yep. All right, guys. Sorry, Rob. Now we're actually going to Rob.
Okay.
Trump-Epstein. Trump apparently leased his jet.
Yes. So you're going to see this story all over the internet. And I like covering Epstein stuff because I find it interesting. So regardless of who's involved, I like to try and get down to the bottom of some of the mysteries that surround Jeffrey Epstein. And we will get to those in a minute. But the reports came out this week. This is from the Daily Mail, August 12th. Donald Trump flies on pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's old private Gulfstream jet, now owned by a top California GOP donor. This story is all over the news. It is Trump connected to Epstein. We must investigate. But what this really is that Donald Trump was riding on a plane that was previously owned by Jeffrey Epstein. It is not the Lolita Express plane. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein owned several different planes. But Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. His assets went up for sale. This gentleman who runs a company called... his name's James Pravetti, and he runs a company that leases these charter planes. He bought the plane. He ended up buying the plane back in 2020. Originally, they wanted $16.9 million for it. He ended up purchasing it for $10.6 million, and then he uses the plane and leases it to people. If you guys remember last week, oddly, after surviving an assassination attempt, Trump's plane had mechanical issues.
Weird.
Trump Force One was grounded in Montana,
Billings, I think.
He needed to continue on the campaign trail, so his campaign went out and they leased a jet, not knowing that the jet belonged to Jeffrey Epstein at one point. The jet was actually tracked. Internet sleuths ended up figuring out that it was the same jet after they realized that the plane had flown to Aspen, Colorado. Trump had actually painted they put like a decal on the side, so it's like a Trump branded jet for right now. Trump doesn't own the jet. Jeffrey Epstein is dead, if you believe the reports. Epstein hasn't owned the plane for 5 years. And here's the next story. If we could go to the next news article, this is from the Daily Beast, August 12th. Donald Trump's campaign admits it rented Jeffrey Epstein's jet. They said it was by accident. They had no idea that the Gulfstream G55 was once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. The woman, the daughter of the guy who owns the company that leased this jet to the campaign, says that her father has no ties to Jeffrey Epstein. My dad had zero connection whatsoever to Epstein, period. His purchase of a plane had been His purchase of a plane that had an unfortunate previous owner allowed millions of dollars in restitution to be paid. So listen, the victims ended up winning. They got $10 million in restitution because this guy ended up buying this this jet that was once owned by Epstein. Again, it's not the Lolita Express, one of 3 that were owned by Jeffrey Epstein. But the news is going to run with this story. Jeffrey Epstein was Donald Trump was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane just to keep running with it.
This is the plane that he rented in order to get to the event when his other plane, when Air Force One, whatever he's on,
had mechanical issues.
He flew a 363-mile short flight from Jackson Hole, Wyoming to Aspen, Colorado, where he attended fundraisers on the campaign trail. He then flew back to Florida on Saturday night in a separate private chartered jet as his private Trump Force One was still undergoing repairs.
This is going to be the most useful piece of information in order to counter the fake news and the liars who are going to believe. They're not even going to pay attention to the date of the story. They're going to think that this is somehow contemporaneous with Epstein at the time. That's very interesting. And he got $6 million off buying it in a distressed sale.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's not like even if you read the story today, it's not like. Wait, what do you think? There's like a kid still inside of the plane? What is the connection here?
Rob,
This is like me renting a car from Enterprise. And previous to me renting that car, the person that was using the car, who I have no connection to whatsoever, viciously rapes an innocent woman. It's horrific, but the guy ends up returning the rental car, and then I go a following week and rent the same rental car. What's my connection to the rapist?
Yeah.
Zero, except that I was in the same rental car that he rented.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a private jet. It's a charter company. Trump's plane was down. They needed... Look, if we're going to get into Epstein, and I'm all for it, let's address some of the other weird things about Jeffrey Epstein. The source of his wealth, the role of Ghislaine Maxwell and his ties to other intelligence agencies, his little black book, the lack of high-profile prosecutions. All of those are worth investigating. But instead, the news is reporting on this. Why?
Yeah, because it's anything, Rob, anything to make – because, Malu, this is how many more months, how many more till the election?
2.5, 3?
2.5, 3 months. It's full – they're in full-blown – anything. The Hitler stuff, the end of the world, the World War III, nothing's working. This is just another, because by the way, I didn't even see that, but that's nothing, because it's like, guys, if there was proof that Trump did anything with underage girls, trust me, it would have been all over the news. Like, think about remember the Billy? Well,
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Twitter right now. Yeah. What people are reporting on this? They're bullcrap accounts. So I'm not going to even read them. But one guy says, so Epstein left the Lolita Express to Trump in his will. Is one person?
Wow.
Another person. Why is Trump flying on Epstein's old plane to campaign? Oh my god! Well, it seems that these are outright propaganda accounts. I was looking to see if Aaron Rupar was like, he's on the.
He's gonna say something stupid, bad.
Oh.
So, what I think this is, though, you talked about propaganda. I think what's going on, and this sucks because you're on it. You're watching us on this. But I believe that the internet is going to be the downfall of humanity, and I think we're seeing its effects in real time in the 2024 election. What this is, what I think is this is the mainstream media weaponizing search engine optimization to use Trump's name, tie it to Epstein in any way. So you get the exact reaction that Viva was just reading on Twitter. People who aren't paying attention and just see Trump, Epstein, they run with it and they go. We've talked about Trump's connections to Epstein. We've debunked the flights and if there were underage kids on it. The only underage kids that were on the jets with Trump when he was on Epstein's planes were Trump's own kids. Yeah. So if you're going to say Trump's raping his own children, then that's your argument. That, yeah, he was raping kids, but it was his own with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
that's your argument?
Didn't you see there was a meme about how he was inappropriately posing with his daughters in pictures from the past and like trying to make him look like a pervert, and then people like, this is a normal way for a father to take pictures with it.
Unlike Joe Biden, who showers with his daughter at inappropriate ages.
And she writes about it.
Kids.
He took a photo with Trump took a photo of his daughter Ivanka on his lap, and everybody's like, that's creepy. Yeah. But Joe Biden's like, hey, Ashley, hand me the loofah. And that's not weird to anybody.
Yeah, I know that you're probably 16 years old, but get my back.
And so abnormal. She's traumatized for life as a result of it, where it's a core memory when she's an adult writing. Dude, she has problems. She's on drugs. She's been to rehab. She sees a psychiatrist. Oh, by the way, Biden as a father is just run. He made Howard Stern said he's a good father.
Yeah. Oh, I love
1 for 3. Bo was good, and it's a shame what happened to him. Yeah. But it seemed like Bo was respected, and he would have been the future of the Biden family in politics. Yep. And now Hunter's not going to be.
Now we have Hunter Biden. What a degenerate.
What I really dug into, because while this is going on and the news is reporting on this, what they're not reporting on is that it's 24 days since Kamala Harris has held a press conference, has done an interview. Why? We talked about this yesterday on the special edition of Unusual Suspects, and Tom brought up a great point. They don't want her going out. They don't need her going out because the only thing that she can do at this point is harm her campaign. She has nothing to campaign on, right? This is the same woman who locked up more than 1,900 people on marijuana convictions when she was district attorney.
And then laugh, Rob, and then laugh when they asked if she smokes weed.
She did not. For somebody who is with the Black Lives Matter movement and supports, when she was district attorney of San Francisco between 2004 and 2011, she didn't prosecute any crime, any police for any type of assaults or any type of mistreatment of people in the due process of law.
Weird.
So she's supposed to support Black Lives Matter and stand against police brutality, but then as the district attorney didn't do anything about police brutality. But then guess what? She also doesn't do anything for the police because there was a convicted murderer. His name was Isaac Espinoza. He was the murderer of a San Francisco police officer. She didn't even put him to death. That guy killed a police officer and continues to live on our taxpayer dime because she was okay. Then let's go to the border czar.
Oh, please,
you want to argue whether she was border czar or not? March 24th, 2021, Joe Biden puts her in charge of a diplomatic effort with Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, to address the root causes of migration to the United States and the southern border. Since then, more than 8 million people that we have documented have come into this country illegally, and they're going, well, she wasn't in charge of the border, but she was put in charge of diplomatic efforts to stop other countries from having their citizens come here. What do you mean she wasn't in charge? And then look at the fentanyl numbers. Fentanyl numbers through the roof. When Trump was in office, 170,000 people died of fentanyl. As of today, and we still have 6 months left in the year and another 7 months under Joe Biden's tenure, or 4 or 5 months, whatever it is. We're at 250,000 fentanyl deaths. Look at the inflation numbers. Bidenomics clearly not working. When Trump was in office, 1.3 inflation, 2.1, 2.4, 1.8. Look to 2021 under Joe Biden, 7.0%, 6.5%, 3.2%. She has no platform to run on. So what they're doing, Vinny, I really believe this. I think they're weaponizing the internet. And if we could pull this up, here's the money. Follow the money. They always say follow the money. Take a look at this. This is spending by advertisers between May and August 11th of this year. So we're talking about 3 months, of which Kamala Harris has only been the nominee for 3 weeks. Donald Trump has been the nominee for how many months? But look how much money has been spent promoting Kamala Harris on Facebook. $269,965, $177,892, $122,241, $115,683. Then you look, there's one Trump up there. $92,000, and then another Harris Victory Fund for $89,000. They're outspending Trump 5-1. So when you wonder, why do I keep seeing all this Kamala Harris support on my Instagram page? Why am I seeing it on my social media? Why does it seem like everybody I know all of a sudden supports Kamala Harris? It's because you're getting flooded with these bought and paid for ads, and then they're weaponizing search engine optimization to hurt Trump. This is the worst, and it becomes policy no longer matters to anybody.
No,
this is crazy.
Cares.
My neighbor was at my house yesterday, and he's a very nice guy. He's a plumber. He was helping me install a water filter. I'm paying him. And he is arguing with me, telling me that I'm alt-right and that I'm a Trump supporter. I'm
in your house?
In my house. Nice guy, but all of a sudden, it's just like, he doesn't pay attention to issues. He pays attention to social media. And I'm going, well, what are Kamala Harris's policies?
No tax on tips. She just announced that the other day.
Trump,
bada bing, bada boom.
Trump announced that 3 months prior. And then I go, can you name a single one? And he couldn't. I went, I encourage you to go listen to Elon's town hall with Trump or their X Spaces. Trump lays out everything he wants to do. He just put out a 20-point policy. But I don't think any of that shit matters. I don't think policy fucking matters.
So let me ask you a question, Robbie. What would, if Trump started spending the money that she's spending on the ads, like, hold on, is he not able to? Because, I mean, we saw that one. Is it, why isn't Trump bombarding us with his?
That guy right there knows the answers.
Connor, why isn't Trump's campaign spending the amount of money? Because social media, you made a great point, dude. That's where everybody lives on this, and everybody's doing this. I can't tell you the amount of content that I'm watching, and then Kamala Harris is there begging me for money. Right after, I see Kamala on YouTube, I see her on Instagram, and I see her on Facebook. I don't see Trump. Trump is just on my feed on my phone because
she's like the black female Zelensky. She's begging for your money.
Give me money. Give me money. I need money.
Back. Well, what Rob's talking about, we just discussed this before the show. Most of it comes from the massive Democrat money laundering operation that is ongoing in favor of Harris. If you guys have ever looked into Act Blue,
yes,
it is the primary online fundraising thing that the Democrats have used for decades. They are responsible for bringing in all the money. When Harris got, what was it, like $200 million in the first 48 hours? Yeah. They said, oh, it's all from the grassroots. No. You know, it's individual donors. Well, I don't know how many times Act Blue has to get exposed for this, but James O'Keefe, I believe, just did it a couple weeks ago for the upteenth time that it's happened, where they find that Act Blue will take small money donors who give $20, $30 and use their name and information to launder thousands of dollars to various campaigns,
and they don't even know
to get around campaign finance laws that prevent too big of a donation.
And I seen that, and I see like one guy was like, I didn't donate $50,000, but here's the thing though, and again, a message for the Republicans: you have to get dirty. Okay, dude, I'm tired of. I'm not saying we are, but the Republicans. By the way, I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm just an independent dude that votes however I want to vote. Yes, I'm going to vote for Trump, but dude, they need to step up their tactics. These people not only go to the FBI to investigate you. Okay, they're all the other stuff. Look what they're doing with ActBlue. They're spending the money on the ads. They're opening the border with illegals to come in to vote. What the hell are y'all doing?
And that's the other problem, Vinny, that I wanted to mention. Is that Trump's team is failing him this time around.
Huge.
Because in 2016, Trump spent way less than the Clinton campaign and anyone else who was running against him because he got free advertising.
Yep.
Every time the media would run a clip of him and use it to attack him, it would help him because people would finally see clips of him that they otherwise would not have been able to. It's not working this time. It didn't work in 2020 either.
And that's only 3. How far are we into Kamala Harris's run? Is it 3 weeks?
3 weeks, but she has not yet officially. They haven't had the DNC. One of the theories is that Trump is going to go easy until she is locked in and then destroy her.
Yeah, because they might do the switcheroo with Gavin. Gavin
Newsom or Michelle Obama or The Rock. Like they might be able to pull a switcheroo. And Trump went a little too hard on Biden, knocked him out before the DNC.
Trump destroyed.
The theory is some people are espousing this that he's going easy on her now, and they're holding off until he said it himself in an interview. Like they're going to have their DNC coronation, and then I'll start campaigning harder.
Yeah.
They'll destroy her, and they're going to destroy Tim Walz afterwards.
But my concern is, okay, it's only 3 weeks in, and they have outspent Trump 5-1. The Trump, it was 90,000. Can you pull those numbers back up real quick, Natalia? And let's show those numbers again. Look, it's not 5-1. It's like 40-1 because Trump's campaign has spent $92,000. And look at that. It's 269, 177,000. Like these are massive numbers and it's only 3 weeks in. So how much more are they going to bombard your feeds going into the next 3 months with this woman?
That's one thing to put into perspective. Like I've run these campaigns before.
Yeah.
And those are not really big numbers. Like I've spent more money on smaller campaigns. But the other thing is that how the system is set up, it's usually set up for ads that have good content to be boosted over whatever they're spending. Yeah. So if the message that Kamala Harris doesn't, it doesn't convince people,
it doesn't resonate.
It doesn't resonate. It will get throttled. So like whatever they're spending, that's what they get. Now, it's true that they're doing a disservice for Trump. Even though the media is trying to pull him away from like the free advertising, on the other side, the media is pushing like free advertising for Kamala at a rate that we don't even know. Like if they had to put a money value on the Times Magazine painting that they did, on the interviews that they do.
Can you imagine they put her on the cover of Time Magazine and then they accuse Elon of giving a campaign contribution to Trump by giving him an interview?
It's like someone did a breakdown on Twitter, like the amount of like free time that she gets on every, like in a positive light, on every single like outlet.
It's all positive.
It's unbelievable. It's like billions of dollars.
It is astroturfed, artificial, and it will come to light hopefully. But there's a lot of people out there who are don't even know what to look for.
You know why? Because a lot of people are stupid. Yeah. All right, guys, moving on. Viva, the Lisp heard round the world from the X-Faces.
Speaking of free advertising, people.
Yeah. So what's up?
So this is the deal. I've done a number of Twitter Spaces, and everyone's like, "Viva, I didn't know you had such a bad Lisp." And I listened to it, and I was like, "Holy crap! It does sound like I have a Lisp." Elon Musk did an interview with Donald Trump Monday night. It was like a 2 hour Monday. I think it was Monday. 2 hours and 20 minutes. An amazing thing. They had over 1 million people listening live. They say there's only been 1 billion impressions, however you want to qualify that. It's good, but it's a little misleading because sometimes impressions means like scrolling up.
Yeah.
But 1 million people watching live, talking about free advertising or at least reaching a market. And everyone was like, this thing goes off without a hitch, really, except for the 40-minute DDoS delay at the beginning, which they then try to like chalk up to Elon not knowing how to run a company.
Yeah,
but
okay. It was called an attack.
It's called a what is the word?
Crime. The DDoS.
You get that Thierry dude from the European Union.
Yeah, with
saying,
a letter.
Yeah, you better censor Trump, and then you get a massive DDoS attack, according to Elon Musk, if you take him at his word. They got it off anyhow, and it was better late than never. Amazing thing. Trump it's a wonderful interactive conversation, and so the media's got to figure out how do they demonize Trump for this afterwards. And because they now want to use against Trump what was true of their candidate, they want to go with senile, having a stroke, medical conditions, whatever. And you get these jackasses here. If you can bring this one up, John Harwood. I don't know when he became the enemy.
Yeah.
Because I remember his face from growing up. Like I thought he was a decent journalist.
Yeah.
Has anyone credibly explained what was up with Trump's voice last night? Because what
credibly explained?
It's well, first other than the fact that many people did. They were attacking him. Oh, you could take that down. They were attacking him for having a lisp, which they were then saying was a sign of cognitive decline.
Oh God, I love it.
The idiots don't understand that there's compression when it comes to these microphones. When you speak on your phone, microphone during a thing, Zoom has such a known problem with the lisp that they gave you these like tips as to how you can avoid the Zoom lisp. Yeah. There was video of Trump talking into his phone where there wasn't a lisp.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what it was. It was not a lisp indicating cognitive decline or stroke or whatever. But these propagandists come out, and now you can pull my reply up. Oh, put John J. Harwood on blast today. Everyone explained it. Tim Pool talked about it. Stephen Crowder talked about it.
You talked about it.
I talked about it because it's happened to me. We're like, oh, whatever lisp I have certainly was accentuated. But it's the only thing they have to try to like laugh at Trump, who had a 2-hour conversation with Elon Musk, the likes of which that idiot DEI didn't earn it hire Kamala Harris could never have. And then you get people saying, well, we now got to go after Elon Musk for a campaign contribution because he gave 2 hours of airtime to Trump, and that's an illegal campaign contribution. He offered it to Kamala as well.
Yeah.
She has yet to accept it because, my goodness, the sound bites you'd get of 2 hours unfiltered of Kamala Harris. Woo! It would be great.
Dude, I cannot wait. And no, you're right, bro. And again, it's just they're gonna keep her away till dude. I still have a weird feeling about the DNC.
I can't believe they're going this low with a lisp.
Dude, hold on.
Is that all you got?
They surprise you going off a Rob's story? Jeffrey Epstein, like, dude, like right now, if you bought, I don't know, did somebody buy Epstein's apartment in New York? I'm pretty sure.
Someone had to. They're not going to burn it down.
They're not going to burn it and like have a priest. I'd have a priest go in there first.
Well, it is weird. His Palm Beach property was purchased and then demolished, as was the homes on Little St. James Island. So both of the places.
But it might be harder to destroy a high-rise. You can't just destroy one.
Yeah, absolutely. But you gotta understand, they demolished a mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, one of the richest areas in all of the United States of America. It's not like it was a rundown shack by the beach. Somebody purchased his home and then demolished his Palm Beach property.
Bro, if I listen,
it's possessed.
If I bought the New York apartment, I would literally hire a group of priests, like good ones, and just holy water and pray that. No, I'm dead serious. I wouldn't just buy that. Like, how do you brag about that? Do you have people in the house and you're like, this was Epstein's? I'm like, oh, really? We're leaving.
Well, what you could do is turn it into a museum of sorts. I don't mean that in a funny way. Like, turn it into a sordid museum and highlight the clients who don't exist. I mean, you could have done something interesting with it that doesn't involve demolishing it, but it's definitely a cursed entity.
Yeah.
But the question here now is, so they're going after Trump for the lisp, trying to accuse Trump of everything that was true of Joe Biden.
Yes.
You know, kids on drugs. Remember they accused Eric Trump of being on cocaine?
Of course. And Don Jr.
And they accused Trump of going to hookers and pissing on things in hotels, which undoubtedly Hunter did.
And he told, by the way, this absolute BS story. He told somebody heard that he said that the military and those sons of bitches. It's like, dude, shut up.
Suckers and losers.
The guy that loves the military, that salutes them, that when their hats fall down off of Air Force One, he put them on. It's like they're grasping at, Dave, it's anything, but my thing is, and to what accord? Like, you're just going to have people sitting around, liberals in California going, did you hear him lisp? What is that doing?
Oh,
it's just nothing.
It's
nothing.
It's not astroturfing might not be the right word, but it's mass formation psychosis where they will get people to believe that something's wrong with Trump, or at the very least distract from the substance of that 2-hour discussion and come away with the headline lisp, or they couldn't run it properly because it was delayed.
Well, that's what happened as soon as Biden dropped out. You saw all the Democrats suddenly start running headlines like, oh, well, Donald Trump's now the oldest presidential candidate in history. We have questions about age all of a sudden. As soon as Biden was out of the way, now it's acceptable. Every time you saw Biden mumble like a you-know-what, while he was up there with the microphone, and they said, no, he just has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
He's always struggled with the speech impediment. How dare you make fun of him for that? So now a lisp is a legitimate speech impediment, and Trump did not sound like a moron as he was talking. He just was lisping.
They were going after the lisp as an indication of a stroke or some form of cognitive issue.
Well, it's like nothing's working. Like, it doesn't work.
Well, when it doesn't work, what do? Go to the electronic voting machines. Now, there was an article that came out. There's an article that came out yesterday. It's an amazing thing. Like, history doesn't repeat, but it tends to rhyme. And Alex Jones always says they use the same tactics over and over again. An article in Politico came out yesterday, which I put on blast, and it's still demonetized on YouTube because YouTube is ass-ho. But it's about how there was a hacking convention in, where was it?
So for background, it's the DEF CON convention in Las Vegas.
I was there. I was there doing an event, and they were there, and I was the wrong guy. He's like, don't. The guy said to me not to cut you off. He goes, hey, if you're in the hotel, don't get on the Wi-Fi. And I was like, why?
Yeah,
He's like, there's all hackers here. I
wanted to bring that up, actually.
I'm leaving. I'm going to the Luxor.
Yeah, it's a giant white hat hacker convention. I think they have it every year. My father-in-law has gone to this convention multiple times over the course of the years. He's an engineer. He does like big software stuff. The stories he comes back from this convention with are insane. First of all, he goes to a gas station and buys a burner phone before he goes there.
Wow.
Because nobody brings their phone.
Weird.
Everybody who goes there knows don't carry a credit card anywhere within a mile of the convention or it will be stolen immediately. So it's
shut up.
Yeah, it's a legitimate conference for people who are in the tech field. You know, they study vulnerabilities, they learn about software stuff, but everyone there has the know-how to get up to nefarious stuff, and nefarious stuff goes on around the peripheries of it. This being one of the latest examples where they were testing out voting machines. Viva, back to you.
Yeah, well, that's
for
it.
the rest of that story.
They were there for 2.5 days to try to crack voting machines and expose vulnerabilities. They do it every year, so don't worry about it. They reveal these vulnerabilities every year, except usually when it's not 3 months or 2.5 months before an election, they have time to implement whatever corrective measures are revealed through exposing the vulnerabilities of the voting machines. The Politico headline and the article goes on to detail YouTube doesn't like it when people actually show that there's vulnerabilities with electronic voting. They say they've exposed vulnerabilities in all aspects of the voting, from the machine to the e-books and all these things that I don't really know much about. But there's not enough time to implement corrective measures to remedy these vulnerabilities between now and November. Why? And so I asked the question, like, why are they bringing this up now? First of all, if we can play that clip, just the first minute.
Okay, go for it.
Listen to this. This is from how many years ago?
Concerns are growing this morning over the possibility of a hacked presidential election. Experts believe a cyber attack this year could be a reality, especially following the hack of DNC email.
2016.
The ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee sent a letter Monday to the Homeland Security Secretary. It said in part, election security is critical, and a cyber attack by foreign actors on our election systems could compromise the integrity of our voting process.
All right.
Oh, weird. So that was 2016. They were warning
2016.
that a cyber attack, I'm pretty sure they're going to say Russia, can affect the election, which, by the way, that's still on the table for this election.
It's been, first of all, well, it's interesting because it's on the table 2016, off the table 2020, back on the table 2024.
Oh, weird.
And so the question is, why? There's the intelligence saying, and if anybody remembers who said it, tell me. It's not a question of what people know, it's a question of when they learn it. Because you can't conceal the truth forever, but you can trickle out the information.
Of course.
Why are they now bringing out what we've all known for 15, 20 years about e-voting machines? On the eve of this election, I believe that they know that Kamala Harris is not polling the way they say she's polling. I believe they know she's a disgusting, detested, and detestable person. And I believe they fear Trump is going to win. Plant this seed now that if there's a Trump victory, they get to blame it on foreign interference, foreign hacking in the machine.
That's Russia collusion 2.0. They're going to say, because mind you, that's the gameplay. The gameplay is he cannot win, so either stop people from voting, hack the machines, or have some major black swan event to keep everybody from going to the voting booth, which happened in House of Cards. They did a fake, the government, the president, did a fake terrorist attack at a polling station, and they shut everything down and they suspended the election.
Now, this problem is older and is bigger than this in particular. And I think I said it before. The dumbest voter, the mouth breather, there's barely there, that the guy that can barely make a driving license.
Stop talking about Rob. Like,
okay?
He's sitting right
Sorry,
there. Like, I wouldn't talk about Rob right now.
That guy, the dumbest guy, needs to be able to audit the election. These decisions are too important to have technology that not everyone that is voting understands. Pen and paper, that's the norm. That's why people go to the DEF CON and they leave their wallet at home, they leave their phone at home. Anything that you don't understand how it works, you don't use it for these things. You leave your phone at home, you leave your credit card at home, and you bring cash. That's what we need to go back to, pen and paper. So even dumbasses like me that can barely count can audit an election. Paper ballot by paper ballot. And this is bound to happen. Like, it's bound to happen.
Oh,
it's common sense. 2 pieces of ID, pen and paper, counted the day of, period. And anybody who wants to say that that's racist because you don't, voter ID, bullshit. We do it in Canada. We're not a racist country. And if you think that minorities or whomever are incapable of getting government-issued IDs, you're the racist.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, Canada is not freaking racist, but your Prime Minister? Is that what it is? He's a flamer. That guy is flaming hot. But anyway.
Well, what can you expect from the bastard son of Fidel Castro?
Fidel Castro's son. Allegedly. All right, anyways, Viva, thanks for the story. Moving on. Connor, North Sentinel Island. I didn't hear about it when you said you were going to be talking about it. I'm curious to what is it. Talk to me.
All right, so let me gauge the room real quick. Who here has actually heard of this place?
Not me.
Any of you aware? Production people in the back?
Nobody.
Never heard of it?
Nobody.
All right, so that makes Viva the only one who actually knows what I'm talking about. So North Sentinel Island is a land that has basically been forgotten by the progress of time. It is I have the exact measurements, 5 miles long, 4.3 miles wide, in the Andaman Isle chain in the Bay of Bengal off the coast of India. We have this map here to show you exactly where it is. There's India, there's Sri Lanka. In that red circle is the speck. It is a speck off the coast of a slightly larger speck in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
This is the middle of the Indian Ocean. Not close to anything. Since 1956, the Indian government that technically has control over this island chain has had a blockade around the island where nobody can get within 5 nautical miles of it.
Okay.
Even photography is limited to
Is the Navy like protecting it?
Yes, there is a naval blockade where they will arrest people trying to get too close to this island.
So India's Navy?
Yes.
Okay.
Under the control of the Indian government. The reason they do this is because North Sentinel Island is home to one of the last completely uncontacted tribes on the planet.
Whoa.
These are the North Sentinelese.
Whoa.
This group of people, their population is estimated to be somewhere between 50 and about 300, or according to other estimates, as low as 15 or as high as 400. Nobody is sure because there has never been an official census conducted.
And they're just keeping that there. Is this like a nostalgia thing?
Yeah,
They're like, hey, listen, let's just go look at these guys.
Yeah, they hunt with bows and arrows and spears. They are mostly naked. They don't have permanent settlements. They fish and they hunt. They don't seem to have agriculture. It's believed they don't actually even know how to use fire. They wait for lightning strikes to set a tree on fire, then they keep the tree burning by feeding it wood so they can use it. So technically, the official reason why no one's allowed to go to this island is because this isolated people group has no natural immunity to any disease that exists in the rest of the world.
Oh, if you sneeze in front of one of their faces,
basically, a common cold could decimate this tiny population. Yeah. The other reason nobody's allowed there is because the North Sentinelese will kill every person who steps foot on the island, and they've been doing that for hundreds of years.
Oh, damn.
Good.
And it is absolutely insane. I actually pulled some of the timelines on what they've gotten up to.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think when you ask people if you know the North Sentinel Island, most people would say no. If you say you know the island in the middle of nowhere where they kill everybody who approaches it, that might get more people to say, yeah, I've heard of the story.
And by the way, I don't know, because right when you said Indian, the Navy, all I picture is like us in a boat trying to get close, and all you hear is, don't you do it. Don't, listen, turn around, don't, go around, go to
Yeah. So, start in 1867, which was one of the first times there was actual contact with anybody made. And it's believed that this people group lived on the island for like 60,000 years.
What the hell?
Imagine I don't mean to be rude, the concentration of genetic organisms that must occur when you have 400 people over thousands of years.
Inbreeding is the less polite way of saying that. But their language is completely unknown. Nobody knows what they call themselves. Nobody's ever spoken to them.
Jeez.
The people on the islands around them don't actually know what language group they use. They can't understand them. So it means they've been there longer than the other people around them. 1867, an Indian merchant ship wrecks on the reef around the island. 106 survivors make it to shore, and they have to fend off attacks from the natives for 3 or 4 days until a British group comes along and saves them.
Yeah.
1880. A British official attempts to explore the island. He only finds abandoned villages, which means they're running away and hiding every time they get close. Yeah. But he does kidnap 2 elderly people and 4 children, and he brings them back to another island base where he tries to communicate with them. The 2 elderly people die almost immediately from disease. The 4 kids get sick.
Oh my God!
And they drop them off on the island again rather than let them die. In 1896, a convict escapes from an island and rafts out into the ocean, drifts ashore. The next day, he's found with his throat slit and his body full of arrows.
Damn.
1977, shipwrecked sailors off the coast because this island is surrounded by a reef where boats run aground frequently. Yeah. They're stuck on the boat. They're radioing for help. And they see the tribesmen come down to the shore and start building boats so they can come out and attack them.
Oh my God.
But only a storm prevented them from actually getting out and doing it.
Imagine that. You're just watching people building a boat to come kill you.
1991 was the first peaceful contact with an outsider when an Indian anthropologist was able to make it to the beach and begin very, very primitive interaction, exchanging gifts. But anytime they stayed for longer than a few hours, the tribe started to get hostile and push them away. Contacts ceased in 1997. In 2004, there was an earthquake in the Indian Ocean that caused a giant tsunami warning. The island actually shifted elevation. The reef was suddenly exposed. The mountains on the island changed size, so they were very concerned the tribe had been wiped out by it. A helicopter flew over to do a survey. They were observed climbing trees to shoot arrows and throw spears at the helicopter.
That's so
which they have done to every helicopter and plane that
I want to hang out with these guys, bro. I want to go there like with armor.
Oh, I am so jealous of these people just walking around naked, no tax.
Killing everybody.
Killing everybody.
Banging your sister, your cousin.
It's a simple life.
Everybody.
Yeah.
In 2006, 2 illegal fishermen drifted off the reef close to the island. They were found a few days later. Dead, their bodies impaled on bamboo stakes like scarecrows on the beach as a warning to anybody else.
What did you learn?
This was the incident that brought it to international attention, even though this has been going on, like I said, for hundreds of years. John Allen Chow was a 26-year-old American missionary who traveled to the island to try to minister on behalf of Christianity.
You're talking about the past tense, so I'm assuming.
Yes, it did not go well. He wrote in his diary, "Lord, is this island Satan's last stronghold where none have ever heard or ever had the chance to hear your name?" And he wrote things like, "The eternal lives of this tribe are at hand. I think it's worthwhile to declare Jesus to these people." And his last diary entry said, "Please do not be angry at them or at God if I get killed, and don't retrieve my body." He hired a group of fishermen to bring him there illegally around the naval blockade. He sails over there, attempts to make a landing. He's singing hymns to them and trying to make gestures of friendliness. They shoot arrows at the boat. They retreat. They come back the next day. He makes it like right up to shore and is trying to get their attention. They seem to be mocking him and cursing at him in their language, though nobody can understand what they're saying. And then eventually a little kid grabs a bow and shoots an arrow that pierces the Bible right up against his chest. They retreat. The next day, he tells the fishermen, I'm going for it. Leave me. Don't come back."
Oh, man.
He walks off into the jungle. The next day, they see his body being dragged down the beach. Then he's buried.
Oh, man.
He's confirmed dead. Smithsonian Magazine wrote this when it happened. And I need to call them out for being utterly garbage on this.
Okay.
The highlighted portion here. "Many people hailed the islanders as heroes for standing their ground against the forces of modernity and religious aggression." So, piss all over Smithsonian Magazine for that.
The guy had a death wish.
Yes.
I remember the incident, but I didn't know the details that he went back multiple times.
Bro, the only rumors I hear, the only stories I hear of this island is spears, murder, stabbing, and killing, I'm not going. Yeah. I'm just not going to go. And if I do, I expect to die.
But the beaches are awesome. White, sandy beaches.
In that case, we're going.
It's like, what's that movie called The Beach, actually?
The Beach, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
It always struck me as being hell on earth. Like, the guy trying to, save their souls for a damn... There's probably safer places. Like, maybe go to a city and, pick a
But in my mind, I'm just like, why is India so hell-bent on keeping this one little group of people intact?
It's done in the name of cultural preservation. Okay. And this is actually the point I wanted to get to, because this has been a thing that people know about for a long time. I've been having a lot of discussions about it for years because, as we just observed with you guys, nobody knows about this.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for anybody to know about it. The island's not worth anything.
Yeah.
It's a tiny, basically 20 square mile speck in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's not close to anything.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be great for tourism. There's no resources there. So they leave the island alone because the people there clearly don't want visitors, and it's to protect uncontacted tribes the same way they try to do in the Amazon, even though it's harder to avoid them because they're on the mainland. But the point I've seen people discussing, and the point I'm trying to make, is why is North Sentinel Island allowed to have better border security than we are? Why are
got a reef?
No, I'm not much of a stand-up comic, but I'm going to try one joke right now.
Go ahead.
That's where the Comcast call center is.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Because Comcast is terrible and offers terrible service.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Of course. I mean, I'd rather be skewered by arrows from tribals and spend a day on the hold with Comcast. But this is, what people are questioning. Why is this group of people preserved the way it is? And why are they somehow immune from the modern standard of it's wrong to kill missionaries and people who are shipwrecked? This was the tweet that kind of got my brain moving on the subject a couple weeks ago. One of the funniest things about modern leftism is that it simultaneously says we must respectfully preserve North Sentinel Island and its culture in a prehistoric bubble, and that if they magically showed up here tomorrow, they'd be Americans just like me. That's the modern immigration standard, where if they left their homeland and came here, our open border would say, welcome, weary travelers, you're just like us.
Yeah.
If we go to their homeland, you end up impaled on a bamboo stake as a warning.
Oh, yeah,
that's straight out of, what is it, the cannibal, not Cannibal Corpse, the zombie, there was a horror movie where they impaled, it was like one of the most realistic
Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibal Holocaust, where they impaled people,
Great
and
movie.
everyone thought it was
Great
real.
movie.
Don't watch it.
I'm not watching that.
Don't
They
watch
say it was a snuff film.
But no, so what's this one,
Yes.
Connor?
So Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire also weighed in on this subject to very similarly make the point I'm trying to make here. The important point is that the primitive tribesmen on North Sentinel Island will viciously murder anyone who comes near their island, including totally innocent people who get stranded and wash up on their shore. Everyone accepts this, accepts them butchering all intruders on sight, because it is their culture and custom. And yet those same people will claim it is immoral for us to guard our own border. If we actually shot and killed intruders, even drug traffickers and human traffickers, they would screech about human rights violations and demand that everyone involved face justice. The only way to justify this double standard is to say that the Sentinelese are savages and inferior to us and cannot be expected to behave like civilized human beings. But nobody is willing to say this. So then how do we justify it? Why isn't the island raided and all the murderers who inhabit it brought up on charges? What makes it okay for them to commit murder just because it's not okay for me?
Weird.
And
Good point.
that's an extremely valid point. The Indian government, this is a matter of legal policy for them, refuses to bring murder charges against anyone from that island.
That's kind of odd.
They have a policy of it doesn't matter who gets killed. We told you not to go there. If you go there and you die, that's on you. We're not prosecuting a North Sentinelese person for murder. The rest of the world has decided, and correctly so, that murdering people is generally wrong. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between defending your home from invaders and killing innocent people. But the North Sentinelese make no distinction about that. It doesn't matter if you are shipwrecked there, if you go there with malicious intent, if you go there as a missionary. They're going to kill you all the same. Mm-hmm. Why the exemption for them? Does not make any sense.
Weird.
Your thoughts, guys.
What do you think, Humberto? I mean, I know you love the place. I'm not even joking. I wish we could get like a team, like military, go there because we want to look at this. Like, I want to go there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm so glad they exist. You know, all these burdens of like modern life, and it just clicked in my head. A few years back, I was really into surfing. Not anymore because I'm like 100 pounds heavier than I was then. My friend James Harvey, he decided to organize a trip to the Andaman Islands that is right next to the Sentinel Islands, and it just clicked. I didn't end up going, but I remember the trouble they went through. It's not even the Sentinel Island; it's the Andaman Island that's right next to it. Yeah. Beautiful surfing. You need to have a permit to get into the zone. You need to have your Indian visa to go into India, and then you need a special permit to go into the Andaman Islands. Yeah. And then you can get a permit to go to this island, obviously, because they're going to kill you. But, I mean, my friend came back from there, and the way this place is preserved in time is something absolutely beautiful. Like, I don't know, I travel a lot, and when you go to these pockets where, like, modernity hasn't, like, fully taken place, like places in Oman that are very remote, places in Africa that are very remote, like, there's something tribal and human about it. Like, if you go to your fridge and open up your fridge, you have all these ingredients that you don't know what they're about. Of course,
it's all poison.
We lost track of what civilization should be. We lost track about violence should be. We lost track about what gold and riches should be. So maybe these guys are onto something, and not being a leftist, I still give them a pass. Maybe we should learn from them.
I am not espousing this view. I'm just going to steel man the argument. They're going to say them killing everybody who ever touches that island is not murder, it's self-defense because their immune systems are so detached.
Fragile, yeah.
So they will literally, if anybody gets it, they will literally die, all of them. So, I mean, Steelman it. I'm trying to think of a contemporaneous analogy where you can say, like, you can't go into a room where someone has a compromised immune system. They won't shoot you if you try, but they'll keep you out of that room. That's the Steelman. But other than that, I mean, this is a relic of
it's like a frozen
humanity.
time. Yeah, exactly.
We throw open our doors to anyone that end up with monkeypox.
No, sure.
What do you mean? Or what do you mean? COVID-19.
Exactly. You're not allowed to talk about monkeypox anymore because they kept finding this disease that was popping up amongst gay bathhouse goers, suddenly appearing in children and dogs, and then suddenly, not supposed to talk about monkeypox anymore.
Yeah, it was predominantly gay guys were getting monkeypox.
And actually, we're getting the opposite here. Like, there's a few illnesses that were eradicated by vaccines and healthcare that are coming back to the United States. I think I can name any of them.
Whooping cough, I think, is one. But yeah, as a result of absolute open borders and not knowing who's coming through and not having any vetting, let alone for criminality and whatever history, medical vetting. There's outbreaks, especially at some of these camps.
And on the cultural preservation front, I agree that this group of people has decided for itself, we don't want outsiders, we don't want modernity, we don't want anything off of this island. They just want to live the way they live.
Yep.
And everyone, for better or worse, respects that. Everybody understands, okay, they're willing to enforce with violence the fact that they don't want outside influence. Let's leave them to it.
Yeah.
No other people group on the planet gets to make that choice.
Yep.
We are all forced, sometimes literally at the end of a gun, to accept modernization. We aren't given the option. People who try to go off the grid are extremists.
Enemies of the state.
They are enemies of the state. They're doing it because they don't trust the government. They're deranged religious extremists and alt-right anti-vaxxers and lunatics. Or maybe they're just like the North Sentinelese. Maybe that's the point.
Yep.
And my final question that I want to leave us with is, what is humanity's obligation to a group of people like that who have decided we're going to kill anybody who comes to us regardless of what their purpose is? Do we have an obligation to overcome their proclivity for violence, to give them medicine, to give them the tools to build a functional civilization? Do we have access to things that could cure them of the viruses they're exposed to, potentially?
Or maybe give them some girls so they're not banging their cousins.
Exactly.
That could be
or,
option.
Pants. You're walking around in a jungle and just
how about some Levi's jeans? Dude, that could be such a marketing
Got to be some thorny bushes there. But it's like,
Yeah.
if the rest of the world reaches a point where we're about to go colonize space, if we are headed to Mars, if we are going to explore the furthest reaches of the galaxy, are we supposed to take off and leave them there? Or do we wait on our spacefaring ambitions until the North Sentinelese finally catch up to the point where they're ready to engage in space programs as well? Well, what's our obligation? Is there any obligation, or do we leave them?
I think the fact that India is responsible for leaving this, like, these people frozen in this time, like as if it's like nostalgia. Like, people have those sets at their house that's like a Civil War memorabilia thing. This is like, it's almost as if it's their pet, it's their people. If the numbers are right, it's like, what, 14 to whatever of them. I mean, unless they're multiplying, they're not going to be around for that much longer. And I think that I don't know the motive behind India keeping them just there, unless they just show up there once in a while and they look at these guys, look, oh, an arrow, and then they leave. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But if you force them to modernize, you've also destroyed the thing that made their culture special.
Yeah.
So that's the question.
How'd they get there?
They're just there.
They think that thousands and thousands of years ago, they migrated from the mainland to that island chain.
It's in the middle of the water.
Else. Yeah.
It's a big
by boat, and also the islands have drifted over time.
There's probably like an Indian guy with his friends, and he was like, they can't understand what I'm saying. I'm going to start my own place. All right. Good story, Connor. We're going to go to the last story. I already know I'm going to get hit. Dude, I made that video, the sketch about making fun of Indian food. You have no idea how many messages I got where they were like, mothered bitch. That's the first two words. Mothered bitch. You don't know nothing about that. I'm like, okay, bro, you cook with your feet sometimes. I've seen the video. All right, last story. Humberto. Censorship. We've been seeing it a lot. Obviously, with Venezuela, with the UK, you're going to compare the two.
Well, actually, this is a complete opposite to your story. This is the lack of any healthy self-preservation Just so I'm allowed back in the UK, I'm not going to criticize any of the groups. I'm just going to criticize the government. And since the government is mostly white, I'm still allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're going to go straight into the first video because you guys need to see the insanity. Okay? This is the chief of police warning Americans that they're not safe here. Just roll the clip. This is insane.
Full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved. What are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we'll come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
This effing guy, man, he's talking about keyboard warriors. He's a TV warrior. He's sitting there behind his badge in London. We'll come after you. I happen to think they're only really talking to Tommy Robinson.
That's exactly what they're talking to.
And not necessarily the Elons of the world, but the balls it takes for that guy to say he's going to come after.
This is the same guy that lives in the same country that was trying to control us. And guess what? The Second Amendment happened in the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Guess what, Nigel, whatever the hell his name is, good try it.
Following up
going from one red coat to now a literal red coat. I see the picture.
Following up on the insanity, like I literally had to bring 6 or 7 short videos so people don't think I'm making the thing up. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Just listen to this guy. He is judging or like
sentencing a guy for a social media post.
Sentencing a guy for a social media post. Look, like, just check his tone. Like
his eyes.
His eyes.
Humberto, not just sentencing. Guys, 20 months, and you're going to hear that they knocked it down to 20 months for doing it. But yeah, go ahead. Play this clip.
The eyes of
did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, rape our kids and get priority. End quote.
That's it.
This offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Would you stand, please?
Watch this.
The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment.
Those eyes. Evil.
By the way, and just so a third, so that's 20 months times 3. 60 months is how many?
Oh, is it brought down a third or brought down by a third? So was it 30 months to 20 months, I think?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, but the absolute shocking thing about that, because I really went crazy on that video a little while ago, that was 5 days after the social media post. The guy got arrested, charged, and then pleaded. Because by pleading, he was able to reduce it by a third. That sentence was 5 days after the post.
For saying something that's factually true, that the migrants that are coming into Europe are raping and murdering. He didn't say all.
And not getting prosecuted for it. The Pakistani rape gangs in London were going on for decades
and nothing
with impunity and protection from the cops because they didn't want to be accused of being politically insensitive, culturally insensitive.
I don't know how. Listen,
the British citizens will be prosecuted by their own government because, like the guy said in that post, that is now going to be sitting in jail for the next better part of 2 years. He said they're getting priority.
By the way, camera here to UK thought police. I don't necessarily agree with what they just said.
You're worrying about
to the camera, red coats. Now I understand 1776.
Oi, bruv, have you got a license for that social media post?
So this is at all levels: local police, judges. We can quickly watch this video. This is at the high government level. This is the MP just setting down the law.
Is that Keir Starmer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hear.
Also looks like Satan has possessed him.
I can announce today that following this meeting, we will establish a national capability across police forces to tackle violent disorder. These thugs are mobile. They move from community to community. And we must have a policing response that can do the same. Shared intelligence. wider deployment of facial recognition technology,
oh my goodness,
and preventative action, criminal behaviour orders to restrict their movements before they can even board a train.
Wow.
In just the same way that we do with football hooligans. And let me also say to large social media companies and those who run them, violent disorder clearly whipped up online.
That's Elon. He's talking to Elon.
That is
not
also
Tom.
a crime. It's happening on your premises. And the law must be upheld everywhere.
Whose law?
That is the single most
Korean law?
important duty of government.
Crazy.
Service rests on security. And we will take all necessary action to keep our streets safe.
And this is why the Second Amendment is so, and the first, but the second one, you can't have one without the other.
The second protects the first. I understand it now.
You to try to do that shit here, bro.
Oh, but Vinny, they are. That's the point. And I hit on this a little bit when we talked about Kyle Rittenhouse a while back, but I need to reemphasize it. The people who stand firmly by the Second Amendment, and I agree, Second Amendment all the way. That's very important. But they don't need to get rid of the Second Amendment to take away all your other rights. They're already doing it. So the people who say, as long as we have the Second Amendment, the rest of our rights are secure. No, they're not. They've taken your rights for decades, and all the people who say until they touch the guns, they're not going to touch anything else are completely oblivious to the fact that they're trying to do this here. They're trying to take the UK format and do it to you here, and they're just 10 to 15 years behind it. And of course, the people who say, as long as we have guns, there's nothing they can do about it. Well, when the government hasn't touched your guns, but they've gone to all the big tech companies and said, hey, anybody who votes for Trump, deplatform them. When they go to your bank and says, hey, anybody who's conservative, debank them. You don't need a gun confiscation to end up in that mess. So if you're sitting there with the gun saying, as long as I got this, everything else is secure, you might need to open your eyes a little bit and look around and see the fact that so much else has disappeared.
And they get you to do it voluntarily because you think you're feeling good by suppressing hate speech.
Well, people argue if it was, Huxley or Orwell that was right, is it mass distraction or mass surveillance? And we're getting a little bit of both. We're getting super distracted and overly surveilled. And this we're going to skip this video. It's just to make another point that they arrested an old lady. But I want to show you that what you're saying is right. It's what they're allowed to do. They will go all the way. And just to put in perspective, the numbers came out. There's no way I can have an accurate count to today.
Okay.
And in Russia, there's been 300 politically related arrests for wrongthink.
Okay.
And in the UK, the last number I checked is close to 4,000 people that have been arrested for posting things online. So Russia 300, UK they're at 4,000. And I translated this video using AI so to show you guys that the difference between Venezuela, is a totalitarian communist regime. And the UK is not that much,
Difference? Okay.
The difference is not that much. Just roll the tape. This is Maduro banning WhatsApp on
WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
WhatsApp, here you are, little one. WhatsApp. Technological imperialism. You are attacking Venezuela. They gave you all the lists. Here it says uninstall.
TikTok on there.
Here it says uninstall. You left WhatsApp? If I've seen you, I don't remember. I'm free of WhatsApp. I'm at peace. Free of WhatsApp.
And that's banning him.
I'm free of WhatsApp.
This is a guy on the street. They're interviewing him and asking him about the banning of WhatsApp.
Okay.
And he gets caught red-handed. Just roll the tape. This is so funny.
If the president deletes it, we have to go to his call, delete it, not to delete it, or at least not to use it. Not to use it until further notice, until further order from the president, because it is something that does not...
Obedience to Nicolas Maduro, etc.
Is it?
Yes. We let him attend. Are they calling him on WhatsApp? Pick up.
Just unbelievable, Gonza. Were they really calling him by WhatsApp?
Oh, that.
Guys, you can't fall.
Sorry, I don't want to
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Call him WhatsApp, straight to
Oops,
jail. So if we go to the next one, and here's the serious point, this numbers, and I want to bring this slide and the next one up. All these people are right now, they're political prisoners of the Maduro regime. The strife for freedom of the Venezuelan people is still going on right now. I have people close to me, that I know that are right now, we don't know where they are, And all these people, like student leaders, officials that are in jail right now, and this is what, right close to the border. It's not far away land, and if we don't take matters into a situation like the mass surveillance, mass censorship, and we don't take a stand on this thing, like this is coming here, and it's coming here soon. So that's
under a Kamala regime, they might participate in extradition of American citizens. It's an amazing thing, though. They say, like, all right, this is our laws, and you have to respect our laws. Do we have to respect North Korean laws of censorship in America? Like, am I allowed criticizing Kim Jong-un?
Yeah,
or they're going to threaten, we will now, just don't put a British accent, put a North Korean accent. We will extradite Americans who speak ill of Supreme Master Kim Jong-un. That British guy is no different than anybody who thinks they are a Supreme Master coming after mean words on the internet.
Well, Viva, as someone with a pretty prominent Twitter following, and maybe you've encountered this, I know a lot of other people have seen it, where like you get flagged for, oh, this tweet violated German law. We're just letting you know. Have you ever?
I got a ton of those, but and that's because people abuse of the system to try to.
Of course, but it's like you get notified all the time. Hey, you're posting from America. That's good for you, because if you were in Germany, you'd be in prison right now, or if you were in the UK,
for things like Holocaust denial, will land you in jail in certain countries.
So that's that this topic. It's a deep, troubling thing that is worldwide. There's nowhere you can hide. You can just fight it, and we need to fight like hell. Because once you can't, express your thoughts, it's over. It's done. We might as well join the island tribe in the Sentinel Island. At least you're naked and you're not paying taxes. So that's that.
And you can throw spears at people and nothing happens to you.
Spears are very powerful tool.
I do. But like, watching that type of stuff, especially a guy like, bro, what year are you, like, just the English, like that whole magistrate, whatever the hell, why are you wearing a wig? Like, that whole era, like, you're stuck in a time where he's there and he's...
It's to show you that they are better than you and different than you. And they wear the wig and you don't. And they will block you in jail.
It's a cultural tradition, just like murdering people is a cultural tradition for the North Sentinelese. Yeah. You do things a certain way in a certain culture that represent a certain time. And there's a whole movement to try to get the barristers' wigs outlawed because it's unkind to people with different textured hairs from other races, but it's like that was a British thing for a long time. Yeah, and they do it, and maybe it looks dumb, but it's a thing they do.
Well, look at the history of the term bigwigs. It's because those who had the money to get a wig was a big wig, and it distinguished them from the lowly hoi polloi.
Well, Rob will love that.
Yeah, Rob loves that. And I just think, bro, like, and again, Elon Musk spending how much did he?
$44 billion.
$44 billion
to change the trajectory of the world,
so that we could say what we want, and it's pissing off the people that you just saw with the wig and the two flight. Like, I hate when they try to be all professional. Like, oh, I'm addressing the. They don't give a damn. They want to take. They listen, and they want us to be silenced. And then the thing is the guns. Especially, I'm talking about here, because I tell people all the time, like, the thing about the Second Amendment, I always say, is I'm not just happy that we have it. I mean, they've been constantly trying to shut us up. If it wasn't for Elon Musk, we haven't, dude. None of the conversations being said would be being said, because no information would be out there. Where would you find all the stuff about the shooter and all that, like Thomas Crooks and nowhere, all the footage of him and the cop going up on the roof and then turning around? You wouldn't see any of that, and we would be in the blind if it wasn't for this guy. Yeah. So call him what he wants. Some people are like, he might be the Antichrist. Let me explain something to you. That guy is giving us a platform that we could all talk, and I love it because I have family members. We used to talk about, and I'm going to wrap it up right now, with the FBI Hunter Biden story, doing all the stuff. The FBI was at Twitter. You know what he said? Well, why don't you guys buy your own? No, we just bought yours, so now we got it. But all right, guys, everybody, what's up? What
sketch.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say it right now. Thank you guys for tuning in another episode. Viva, Connor, Rob, Humberto, Nat, Jake, and Malik in the back. Thank you guys for everything. For everybody that hasn't subscribed yet, please subscribe right now if you haven't. Where is it? Is it gonna come right here? Look at that, boom, right there, and give it a thumbs up. Set the notifications so you guys know when we're on. Guys, right after this episode, we shot a sketch. How to, and trust me, if you guys have a 9 to 5, you have to watch this. It's how to be at work and act like you're working without actually doing any work while you're at work. That's not going to be the title, but that's what it is. Guys, we will see you guys on Friday. Love each other. Take care of each other. And we'll see you guys on Friday. Peace and love.